Welcome to the S-Man Storybox podcast and stories telling. Dive into captivating stories filled with life lessons, love, friendship, family dynamics, and emotional twists that resonate deeply. From scandalous dramas to spiritual wisdom, we deliver insights to inspire, heal, and transform. Here's what we offer: heartfelt tales and life lessons, stories that inspire and transform wisdom, true stories, twists of life and love, emotional journeys that move the soul. Whether you're looking for motivation, life advice, or just a great story, this is your storytelling haven. Subscribe now and join the S-Man Storybox family, because every story we tell could be the one that changes your life. Let's keep learning, growing, and sharing, one story at a time.
The power of forgiveness. In a village nestled between the golden savanna and the emerald forest stood a giant baobab tree, as old as time itself. The villagers called it Ngoma, the drum tree, for when the wind passed through its hollow branches, it sang songs of wisdom. Ngoma was sacred, and its shade was the meeting place for stories, disputes, and celebrations. Among the villagers were two brothers, Jabase and Kofa, who once were inseparable. Their laughter had been the heartbeat of the village, but all that changed after their father, Kwame the weaver, passed away. Kwame's prized possession was a golden loom, said to weave cloth as strong as the bonds of family. When he died, he left no instructions for who should inherit it. Jabase, the elder brother, believed it was his birthright. "I am the firstborn. I've worked beside Baba the longest," he argued. Kofi, the younger, disagreed. "But I am the most skilled. Baba said so himself." The disagreement festered, growing into anger and then into silence. One day, in the heat of an argument, Jabase took the loom and locked it in his hut. That night, Kofa stole it. The loom broke during the scuffle, its golden frame snapping in two. The brothers stood in the moonlight, the shattered remains between them. "You've ruined everything," Jabase said, his voice full of venom. "No, you have," Kofa spat back. They parted ways, their bond fractured like the loom. Years passed, and the brothers lived on opposite ends of the village, refusing to speak. The villagers mourned their estrangement, for it seemed even the wisdom of Ngoma could not mend their hearts. One year, a great drought came upon the land. The rivers dried, the crops withered, and hunger spread. The villagers gathered under Ngoma, seeking counsel from the village elder, Mama Nini. "We must pool our resources to survive," she declared. "We must weave a great cloth to carry offerings to the spirits, asking for rain." The villagers agreed, but no one had a loom strong enough to weave such a cloth. All eyes turned to Jabase and Kofa, who stood on opposite sides of the circle. "The golden loom could have saved us," someone whispered. "Could have," said another. "But it's broken." Jabase and Kofa avoided each other's gaze, shame and anger warring in their hearts. That night, as the wind whispered through Ngoma, Kofa found himself unable to sleep. He walked to the tree, where he found Jabase sitting silently, staring at the stars. "You're here too," Kofa said hesitantly. "I couldn't sleep." The two sat in silence, the air heavy with unspoken words. Finally, Kofa spoke. "Do you remember what Baba said about the loom?" Jabase nodded. "It is only as strong as the hands that hold it." Kofa hesitated, then said, "We've both been holding onto our pride instead of each other. That's why it broke." Jabase looked at his brother, tears welling in his eyes. "I blamed you because it was easier than admitting I was wrong." "I blamed you too," Kofa admitted. "But if we don't forgive each other now, what will we tell the village? What will we leave for our children?" They sat under Ngoma until dawn, sharing memories, laughter, and tears. By the time the sun rose, the weight in their hearts had lifted. The brothers worked together to mend the loom. It was no longer golden, but the strength of their combined effort made it even sturdier than before. Together, they wove the offering cloth, its patterns telling the story of their reconciliation. When the villagers carried the cloth to the sacred riverbed, rain began to fall. The land drank deeply, and life returned. The brothers stood side by side as the village cheered. Under Ngoma's shade, Mama Nini smiled and said, "Forgiveness is like rain. It nurtures what is broken and allows it to grow again." From that day forward, Jabase and Kofa became symbols of unity. Their story passed down as a reminder that even the deepest wounds can be healed with forgiveness. And so, under the watchful branches of Ngoma, the village thrived, knowing that strength comes not from pride but from the courage to forgive. While she was speaking in conclusion to what's happening in Ngoma village, a man named Job came from another village named Mujir, with a complaint to Mama Nini, for help in solving the problem of two friends, Amara and Sefu. Cause Mama Nini was a woman of great wisdom. He explained. Long ago in a small village called Mujia, surrounded by rolling hills and a flowing river, there lived two friends, Amara and Sefu. They had grown up together, playing by the riverbank, climbing trees, and sharing dreams under the starlit sky. Their bond was as strong as the river's current, but one fateful day, a bitter misunderstanding threatened to break it forever. The village chief had promised a rare honor, a plot of fertile land near the river, to the most hard-working youth in the village. Both Amara and Sefu worked tirelessly, hoping to win the chief's favor. But when the chief awarded the land to Sefu, Amara was overcome with jealousy. "You must have tricked the chief." Amara accused Sefu one evening. "I worked just as hard as you." Sefu was stunned. "I did nothing wrong, Amara. I earned this." But Amara's anger blinded her. "You betrayed me. I can't believe I ever trusted you." She stormed away, leaving Sefu alone. Days turned into weeks, and their friendship withered like a plant in the dry season. Amara avoided Sefu, her bitterness growing with each passing day. The villagers noticed, shaking their heads in disappointment. "How sad," they whispered. "A friendship as strong as theirs, undone by pride." One day, an elder named Baba Juma called Amara to his hut. He was a wise man known for his stories, which always held lessons. "Amara," he said, gesturing for her to sit, "do you remember the river?" "Of course," Amara replied, puzzled. "It flows through our village every day." "Exactly," Baba Juma said. "But have you ever wondered why the river flows without stopping?" Amara frowned. "I've never thought about it." Baba Juma smiled and began his tale. Long ago, the river was just a trickle of water, trapped in the hills by rocks and debris. It yearned to flow freely but couldn't. One day the river spoke to the rocks, "You block my path, and I cannot move." The rocks replied, "We have been here forever. We will not move for you." The river grew angry. It roared and swelled, trying to force its way through, but the more it fought, the more it hurt itself. Exhausted, the river finally stopped and thought. Then it spoke again, "If I cannot move you, I will flow around you." And so, it began to forgive the rocks for standing in its way. With time, the river carved new paths, flowing around the obstacles and becoming the mighty river you see today. Amara listened, her heart heavy with realization. "Are you saying I must forgive Sefu?" "I will not," Amara said. Baba Juma nodded. "Forgiveness is not for the one who hurt you, it is for yourself. Anger and bitterness are like the rocks that block your path. They keep you trapped. When you forgive, you allow yourself to move forward, to grow, to be free." Amara left Baba Juma's hut and walked away, to the riverbank where she and Sefu had spent countless hours as children. She watched the water flow, steady and unyielding, and understood the wisdom in Baba Juma's story. But still wasn't ready to forgive Sefu. After few weeks old Job came back Mujia village and called Amara and give her the Mama Nini wisdom advice. The next day, Amara went to Sefu's hut. Her heart raced as she knocked on the door. When Sefu opened it, surprise flashed across his face. "I've been holding on to anger," Amara began, her voice trembling. "I was wrong to accuse you. Can you forgive me?" Sefu's eyes softened. "I was hurt by your words, but I missed our friendship more. Of course I forgive you. Their embrace was like the first rain after a long drought, washing away the bitterness that had kept them apart. The villagers rejoiced, seeing the two friends together again. From that day on, Amara and Sefu's story became a lesson for the village. Whenever conflicts arose, the elders would remind the people of the river's wisdom, that forgiveness is not a weakness but a strength, a way to move forward and let life flow freely. And so the village thrived, its people learning that to forgive is to set oneself free.
Hit subscribe and turn on those notifications because there's so much more to share, and I want you right here with me for every lesson and twist along the way. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And most of all, thank you for being part of the S-Man Storybox family. Let's keep learning, growing, and sharing one story at a time. See you in the next video.